Today's journey starts with us heading to the north side of the lake and heading into a ravine. Though this area is small, there's some very interesting things to both see and point out. If we look up at the bridge, we see people who have been hanged. As we get closer, they begin to drop down off the bridge, and this is where we're introduced to a new enemy, those who live in death. When fighting them with melee weapons, you have to hit them a second time when they're down to stop them from reforming. There are some Golden Order spells that are designed to kill them in one shot. Because they are undead, they are susceptible to holy magic. We will find these all throughout the lands between, and eventually there's a quest that takes us to the source that is causing them to rise. As we travel down this valley, we get invaded by the Bloody Finger Nereus. As we begin to fight him, we get a message that the Bloody Finger Hunter Yura is being summoned in, along with a very cool piece of dialogue.
If it isn't Nereus, the Bloody Finger, the end is nigh. For you. And your Cessblood.
A samurai then joins the fray and helps us defeat this Bloody Finger. This starts a questline that goes through about half the game. Best death ever right here. Dies because he tries drinking a potion when he's out. We get the weapon called Reduvia. It's a weapon specifically designed for inflicting blood loss. It's used by the noble servants of the Lord of Blood. This Lord of Blood will become a very important character later on in the game. If we head a little north, we find Yura standing in a tunnel. I'm going to let Yura's dialogue play out in full. The voice actor does an amazing job, and paraphrasing what he says does the dialogue no justice.
Just joining the fray, tarnished. Wow. You fought Nereus and survived. That alone deserves commendation. I'm Yura, Hunter of Bloody Fingers, tarnished, held in thrall by Cessblood. Zealots, who stalk their own. You stay the path. You're certain to face more of them. Just remember, no kinship with their ilk remains. Their madness precludes it. Don't let your emotions stay your blade. One last word of warning. Stay clear of Agil Lake. A great dragon roosts there, and it's as fearsome as it is majestic. So, unless you're mad, or wish to be burned alive, stay clear of the lake.
I wondered for a long time why we were so late showing up to the lands between. It's a simple answer, but first you have to have all the clues. I'll point the clues out as we come across them, but I'll also have to explain what happens when you do a specific quest out of order. If we head back to where the initial invasion occurred, we find the Murkwater Cave. You have to be careful navigating through this cave, because right at the edge of the bushes there are bell traps set up. Set off the bells, and 6 highwaymen come rushing at you immediately. Between their relentless attacks and poison, well, you know what's coming. The best way to navigate this cave is just to follow the right wall. You will avoid all the traps. The right passage leads to the quote-unquote boss of the area.
Well, well, well. Thought you'd just help yourself to a man's personal belongings, huh? You scheming little thief. The gods demand repentance. Cough up your coin. All of it.
Here we meet a character who is a staple of the Dark Souls series, Patches. The thing about this fight is you don't actually have to kill him. All you have to do is get him to about half health, and he'll plead for his life.
Wait, please! I surrender! White flag and all! Ooh. Well, finally come round, have you? I knew you would. You're a man of reason. True and true. Ah. Well, what do you know? You're tarnished, like me. Now, how did I get that wrong? I took you for a demi-human or some such. Well, an innocent mistake, I assure you. Well, water under the bridge. Now we're squared up. How about we play nice from now on? A true man of reason. Just what I like about you. I'm Patches. Patches the Untethered. Tarnished like you, only free-spirited. Nomadic, you might say. Only for now, those retired soldiers turned bandits. They're paying for my gruel. In exchange for my, well, showing them the ropes. But honestly, this looting racket is bloody terrifying. Frankly, I'm ready to wash my hands clean. Maybe set up a legitimate shop. So don't be a stranger, huh? I'll be ready to wheel and deal come next time.
Show him mercy, and you unlock his quest line, and also he's a vendor that sells a very important item. Leave and then come back, and it opens up Patches Emporium, which is a shop.
But I'm sure you'll find something. And welcome to Patches Emporium, where you won't need a refund, because everything's top-notch. Yeah, I had those bandits make a clean break. Now they're all suppliers, and good ones at that. I mean, they don't understand a word I'm saying, but it hardly matters. We have a natural connection. They're all foot soldiers, survivors of a defeated army, worked to the bone by their high and mighty lord, only to be thrown out with the rubbish. It's the same old story everywhere I go. To hell with it all.
When we ask Patches about the chest that's in the upper left-hand corner of our screen, Patches then goes into a dialogue where he's tempting us to open it. He's done this in other Dark Souls games, and it usually ends with us falling into a trap.
For a very valuable customer. But then again, it would fetch some spectacular coin. And besides, this valuable customer could be a long time coming. Huh? Everything is give and take. Give and take.
Patches actually has some very good items, but he has an extremely good one called Margit's Shackle. Though expensive this early on in the game, it does have some good uses. A fetish bathed in golden magic. Shackles were used to bind the accursed people called the Omen, and these ones are made to keep a particular Omen under the strictest confinement. Though faint, the shackles still retain vestiges of power, enough to trap the once-bound Margit on Earth, if only for a short time. Most players probably read this description and said, what does any of that mean? And then they meet Margit, and then they return and buy this item. When we open the chest, we fall into the trap.
Well, well, well. I should have known, you scheming little thief. The gods demand vengeance! Vengeance!
It teleports us to a forest, right into a group of rune bears. The best way to fight a rune bear is to avoid the fight altogether. We can return to Patches after the trap for a little more dialogue.
Ryan, you're alive. Oh, you had me proper scared, puffing away in a flash like that. Well, maybe it's a sign to keep your mitts off what's not rightly yours, hmm? But I'll forgive you. View it as a learning experience. At any rate, it's just nice to see you safe. Oh, don't miss all the bargains here at Patches Emporium.
We leave the cave and head north, and at the very end of the ravine is the Murkwater Catacombs. There is no dungeon easier in the game. It consists of one hallway, 3 small rooms, and a boss room. This catacomb introduces us to a pressure plate trap. It can harm us, but also harms the enemies in front of it. The boss for this catacomb is the Grave Warden Duelist. If he looks like he just came out of a coliseum, it's because he has. In the lands between, there are coliseums, and this duelist once fought in them. What we can't see because of the poor lighting is he has images of serpents adorning his body. He once played the role of the villain in these combat sports. With the Colosseum shut down, he now guards the roots of the Erd tree. We'll get a better look at one of these duelists later on in the game. He's actually outside one of the Colosseums. This is where we get a named Spirit Ash based on a character in the world. These ashes are far more powerful. They can have higher hit points, better armor, their own unique skill sets, much like our character. Banished Knight Engval, one of 2 knights dubbed the Wings of the Storm. Despite his banishment, he rejected the invitation of the grace-given Lord, instead keeping watch over a masterless castle for many years, gaining renown as a hero of the fringes. The grace-given Lord is a character we meet much later in the game. The castle is most likely Stormville Castle. The first building we exit in the lands between is the Fringe Folk Hero Grave. One of the enemies that's outside of the catacombs is this weird mass of dead flesh and bone. This entire ravine is a dumping ground for dead bodies, and these strange fleshy masses have started to form. They are heavily resistant to physical attacks, but have a weakness to fire. We find many purple flowers in this ravine, and we also find those who live in death. Purple flowers represent sleep. Those who live in death are caused by a demigod. That demigod has been put into a state of slumber. The jellyfish are spirits of the dead. They are mostly peaceful, but we do find some that turn the color red and become hostile. This is where I'm going to end the video. I completely forgot about how much lore and quest setup there is in Limgrave. The reality is there's still a lot more setup to get to. From here, I'm heading east to the Mistwood and then south into the Weeping Peninsula. I will then head north to Castle Stormvale and then finish Limgrave off by defeating all the bosses that spawn at night. I'm shooting for about 6 more videos to complete the Limgrave journey. If you've watched to the end, I want to thank you, and I hope you're having a good week.